I
go.
can't
We
win
got
with
you.
this.
Yes, we can hear you on and off. So we'll go and see how it turns out. Let's see. Can you hear us now? Hello?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can you hear me okay?
Okay. Yes, there you are. Okay. We're going to start with questions, and to kick us off, we're going to go to Dustin Albino. Go ahead, Dustin.
Hey, Tyler, can you hear me?
Not very well. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try a different Wi-Fi network. I'm connected to a different one. Is this any better?
Yeah, you sound better now.
Yes, you do sound better now.
Sorry, guys. I'm telling you, everything else I use my internet for, it works great. So I just think it works okay. And the second I turn Zoom on, it's like it decides it's not going to work anymore. It's very frustrating. So sorry about that.
We appreciate you. No, we appreciate you working with us. This is much better. So, Dustin, go ahead with your
Tyler,
question.
so with how the first two races have gone this year,
probably go out.
With how the first two races have gone this year, how important is Homestead this weekend, given it's one of your better tracks?
Extremely. But unfortunately, because of how bad of a start we've had, I feel like we really can't go for broke. We can't be aggressive because the first two races, I think we've pretty much gotten like 2 points or something like that. So me and Matt Benedetto and Ross Chastain are all in a really, really bad spot right now in points. And we just can't let this slide continue, because if it goes on much further, we're going to be in a deeper hole 3 races in than I was at my worst right at the end of the regular season stretch before the playoffs started. And that's no way to start what's supposed to be an improvement upon, my rookie year.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Sorry, my internet sucks.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Kelly Crandall. Go ahead, Kelly.
Thanks. Hey, Tyler. 2 for you. The first is running double duty this weekend. I don't think a lot translates from cars and things like that, but mentally, how big of that is running double duty for you, going from one day to the next and just having that on track time?
For me, I don't know how much I translate what I learn, I guess, inside the car from Saturday to Sunday. But what I know is going to happen regardless of where I'm running on Saturday is that I'm going to have a lot of fun, and I'm going to understand the changes the track has had since I think it was June when we ran there last. And it really did change a lot from November 2019 to June 2020. So I expect a very similar another big step in progression of the track surface kind of shifting, changing, aging, as it continues to get older and older. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be another step of more abrasive than it has been, just as the weather's changed and it's gone through seasons. The track just kind of changes, new bumps form, certain seams split apart a little bit more. Some of that stuff changes. So I'll have that and understand that going into Sunday. But above all else, I'm gonna have a lot of fun racing Xfinity car on Saturday. That's really, I'm not really trying to get anything crazy out of it to help me on Sunday, other than just having a lot of fun and enjoying one of my favorite racetracks.
The second thing I wanted to ask was simulator work. Obviously, with road courses and dirt this year, I think a lot of drivers are going to turn to the sim. But in general, has sim work over the years for you become something more that you've dug into to try to really use as a tool?
Well, with practice and qualifying and the multi-day shows kind of disappearing for the most part, aside from a couple weekends this year at new venues we really haven't experienced before. You really have to tap in to your notebook. You really have to rely more on simulation to really get any kind of preparation as a driver and as a team going into a race. Without that, you really don't have any on-track time of any kind, and truly it's still not on-track time. It's all through simulation. So I really enjoy being able to do that work You know, it's very important to treat it as realistic as possible, you know, understanding that, you know, we go to a place like Atlanta, you know, you can't arc it in every single lap, and do all these crazy things, miss the bottom, and be able to have any good speed really in your car after 10 or 15 laps. So you really got to just make it as realistic as possible when you're, sorry, dang cat, she's trying to get in the screen again. You just got to make it as realistic as possible when you work on it, because I mean, if you do unrealistic things, you're going to have unrealistic expectations when you get to the racetrack. This dang cat.
Thanks.
She's trying to do that. She's trying to walk across again.
All right. Our next question is going to come from Jenna Fryer. Go ahead, Jenna.
Hey, Tyler. First, I'm curious about your little background there. What kind of parties are you throwing?
I'm not throwing parties. That's just where I keep all of my alcohol right now. I don't know. That's just the card Alexa got for me. I'm not throwing parties. That's just,
Well, you got
believe it or not, a lot of those
too.
things have been there for quite a while.
I
well, I don't know what changed with Zoom. Normally I can sit here and all you really see is the jukebox, and you can't really see this at all. But something's changed on Zoom, and now you just see a lot more in the background. So I didn't know what to do. My office spot light bulbs went out, so I can't be in there. So everyone to just see what I decide to drink from every now and again. But a lot of those things on that card have been there for a long time, so it doesn't get used up that much. I just have a lot to choose from whenever I decide to have a drink or two at the end of the day.
All right. Now a different topic. I don't think one that you love. You tweeted yesterday you didn't want to be reminded of that last lap at Homestead.
Yeah.
What was it like after that for you? How did you have to explain yourself? I assume you felt embarrassed?
Yeah, it kind of stinks. We got very fortunate though that didn't cost myself any spots potentially. But definitely the move that I set up on Blaney in what I thought was the final lap in 3 and 4. I would have waited one more lap, got a little bit closer, and maybe I could have got third out of it. You know, him and Chase got to racing on the last lap. Maybe I could have taken advantage of them racing and passed them both. Who knows? But didn't lose any spots. But yeah, it kind of was an unfortunate misunderstanding. You know, it's happened a few times. So that's, I think, what bothers me more about it than anything. I think back to Bristol when I was racing with the RCR on the Xfinity side. I thought the stage ended a lap early, and I let Justin get by me, Justin Allgaier, and it cost me a stage win. And eventually, kind of in my mind, is what shifted our race and kept us from keeping and getting back to the lead. So yeah, it's embarrassing when you do stuff like that, but fortunately I didn't lose a spot. And could have been a lot worse. I could have pulled down pit road and finished last on the lead lap.
You mentioned it's happened a few times. I'm wondering, do you have to do anything mentally to prevent it from happening or focus on it?
I think as I've just gotten more and more comfortable and done more of this asphalt and this NASCAR racing, that it just is the potential for it. I've let my guard down a little bit. You know, running short tracks growing up, you'd almost just run an extra half a lap, or you'd run even after you think you've taken the checkered flag, until you hear race control come over and start calling cars that need to go to scales and whatnot. So I just kind of gotten comfortable to the asphalt racing, and you know, sometimes I think I hear things that I don't, and that was the case. You know, Derek was just saying it was one heck of a night and everyone did a good job, you know, and bring it back in one piece. So I thought, okay, well, the race is over. But obviously that was not the case. And then when I keyed up, I talked so long that, you know, everyone was trying to scream at me to go, but I wouldn't shut up. So I didn't hear him until I let go of the button on the steering wheel there.
Thank you, Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Our next question is going to come from Lee Spencer. Go ahead, Lee.
Thank you. Chase Briscoe was talking about acclimating to the Cup Series, and because he was used to running a composite body, he could beat the crap out of the car, and he didn't have any, you know, it wouldn't hamper his progress, right? How big of a factor was that in your getting used to driving Cup, making that transition, and what were some of the other things? I mean, length of race, you know, along those lines, it took you a little bit to get comfortable in the Cup cars.
I thought the length of the race actually was a benefit for me because a lot of Xfinity races, I always felt like one more stop and I get where I wanted to be. Obviously, if you go back and look at it, though, we had a lot of races where midway through the race, things just kind of became unhinged and, you know, we would kind of almost go the wrong way. I didn't feel like that was due to just not being acclimated to the longer races. It was just, we just would make simple mistakes trying to make our car better. And we already had it really close to where it needed to be. So with those longer races, that can creep in. You know, you may be at the best of what you're capable of that day, but we're always wanting more. And sometimes we go too far, or we go the wrong way, just trying to get more out of what's not really there. So, you know, you just got to understand that, and then just try and be as efficient you can on pit road to either maintain or gain spots on pit road that way. But yeah, the length of races and understanding how important pit road is, you know, I felt like you could be 80% in the Xfinity series, and with a great pit crew like I had when I ran that series, you know, you could really maintain on pit road and still gain spots. So those will be the learning curves, I say. But you know, mentioning the bodies on these Cup cars, I really wasn't too worried about that at Homestead. Granted, you know, my 9 car, I absolutely killed the fence when Christopher passed me a couple years ago, and it was able to hold together. But aside from running into the fence down the straightaway for whatever reason I did when I was right behind Cole, before we had that battle there at the end of that race, you know, 1.5 years ago, I never really hit the fence in the Xfinity car there that year. And in the Cup car, I think I only maybe minorly scraped it once. And I think that was when, you know, I jumped up in front of Chase and I got a pretty aggressive push. So other than that, hitting the fence at Homestead hasn't been a problem for me. I've gotten really comfortable in understanding what my limits are and knowing where the right rear quarter panel is. But definitely, I heard all about it. You hit the fence in these Cup cars, your day's over. You know, you'll keep cutting tires and whatnot. And I think like what other people consider hitting the fence, and then when I like scrape the fence, there's a difference there, because I found there's been a few times I've hit the fence and thought, oh geez, our day is done, and we just pull it back out. Yeah, we lose spots on pit road, but the problem never really reoccurs unless you absolutely just destroy the fence and hit it a bunch and knock the right front and right rear off. Then you see the tire issues.
You expect with more guys coming from dirt, whether, you know, Larson, Chase, Briscoe, whoever, that more guys are going to favor that high line going around Homestead?
Well, I think, you know, a lot of people, after watching the championship race, you know, that 1.5 years ago on the Cup side, not a lot of guys were really able to make the fence work. Kyle was really the only one. Kyle Larson was really the only one that had a lot of speed up there. And I think people are just saying, well, it's just Kyle, you know, he can find speed doing it. And this year when we went back in June, it was pretty obvious right away, you know, that a lot more guys were comfortable running right up against the fence. You know, Chase and Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin didn't have to run it, but if he needed to, Denny can. Obviously, he shows that at Darlington and some of these other tracks. Kyle Busch knows how to run the fence. It's no secret. So I think these guys with this race that isn't, you know, the championship for, you know, the championship finale race, you'll see more guys be more aggressive, willing to take more risks. They definitely saw in this race we had, you know, 6-7 months ago, how much speed there is up there. So more and more guys are going to be up there, but that's going to open up the bottom and the middle, and I'm all right with that too. We had a pretty good car pretty much all over the racetrack here 6-7 months ago.
Super. Thank you, Tyler. Good luck this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay. Our next question will come from Bob Pockris. Bob, do you have a question?
Yeah, Tyler, you're starting in the back for both races. How different is your approach considering the different bodies of the cars and the differences the way they drive?
Not much different. You know, I think clean air is very important in these cars, and in the Xfinity cars, you can run, you know, much closer to someone's rear bumper, especially on the fence, than you can in a Cup car. It's something that you know, you can run the fence by yourself, but you definitely have to be careful in dirty air. You know, the car is just so much more unpredictable and has a lot less air pushing on the front of it to keep it stuck to the racetrack. So obviously, I think you can get away with a couple scrapes, light contact. With the Xfinity cars, you really see it. They're really hung out a lot more. And when they do get in the fence, the right rear kind of sucks them in, and then the right front gets stuck on the wall, and that's when you see those big. They just look like they get stuck, and that's just because the cars are so hung out going around the racetrack. Where these Cup cars a lot more straight in line, and so you can make slight contact with the wall and not get stuck on it, but you don't want to hit it too much because when you take off on sticker tires or you have short runs and you need to run off the wall, any damage you do to the right side is gonna take away from that 10 15 lap run speed that you have. So you really just got to keep it in one piece. There's a lot of speed up there, but you can hit it, but you don't want to. It'll hurt you in the beginning of the run, which could be the way the race ends. There could be a caution at the end. You may get stuck behind and lose too much ground on a restart, setting up for the last green flag run if you do too much damage to your car over a course of a longer run.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Ashley McCubbin. Go ahead, Ashley.
Tyler, you're right now the last of the big three to not have scored a victory, with Christopher getting his win last week. Does that put extra pressure on you moving forward?
No, I don't think it does. I knew that they were going to be very capable of winning races. We've had our opportunities last year, and so far this year, if we ran cleaner races, made smarter decisions, who's to say? But it's a process. Yeah, you want to do as good as the other two that were a part of that. But everyone's learning curve's different. They have different strengths and weaknesses. We were all different, and that's kind of what shaped up our great battle going into Homestead. Christopher was really good at the short tracks and the road courses, and Cole was outstanding on the 1.5 miles and the high bank tracks. So it was a good little mix, and seeing them win's not a surprise for sure. They're all very good drivers, and I knew they're in the right equipment to go out there and win. And I believe that I'm in the right equipment to go out and win too. It's very important to execute. There's 3 or 4 things that I should have done differently that were mistakes in my opinion last year in this race in Homestead. And one spot on one restart, or one choice, one decision can really shake up how the whole race goes. And so you just got to make the right decisions in those very critical times in your race, and that can be the difference between finishing 4th or being up there and battling for the win. So just trying to learn that, understand that, and just keep learning from these new lessons that pop up, and try not to make the same mistakes going forward. And through that learning process, we'll find ourselves in more opportunities to capitalize, hopefully, and go for those wins.
Thank you.
All right, Tyler, thank you so much for joining us today. We wish you the best of luck this weekend in Homestead.
Yeah, thank you.